We don't save because he's asking me, do you want to save the PSD file? I don't want to save the PSD file. The PSD file is the big one. I have already saved the PNG file on the desktop, which was my goal. I don't need to save the PSD. I leave it as it was originally. So I press no. There you go. End of my action. You see, it went already to the next picture. So now I can just press stop, go back to my title, the title of the action, and just press play. Here you go. Voila. Applied again. Yeah? This was the second one. If you want to make things even faster, Photoshop has a interesting function which is called script and image processor. And you can also attach an action to the image processor. Sorry, that is actually automate batch. Yeah, automate batch. When you go to File, Automate Batch, you can say batch apply that action to 3,000 pictures. It's going to take 15 minutes, 20 minutes. When you go back, all of them are set. Now, what if you want to edit an action that you have done? Now, I'm going to show you something that might be very interesting for photographers. I'm going to open again my banner. Now, what photographer might be interested in sometimes is that they want to apply a watermark to a picture. And the watermark might be on 600, 700 pictures at the end of a work. How do you apply the watermark in a snap and for all the picture in the same position? Oh, very interesting, this one. Let's say, for example, that for this action that I just created, before to scale down the picture, I want to apply my logo to it. How do I do so? First of all, I have to select the step before inserting the logo. Then I will record again. I will carry on recording from that point. Start to record. Oh, this is the way how I do it. I go to File, and I go to Place. If you are InDesign user, you're very familiar with Place. Also, if you are Illustrator users, you might be very familiar with Place. If you are Photoshop user, you might or might not be familiar with Place. The interesting thing about Place is that when you use this command, you will import the file as a smart object. So I click Place, and I choose my picture. Soon. There you go. This is the logo that I want to insert. So I click Place, and you see that it will be placed with an X on it. And the X means that this logo will be applied as a smart object. However, I did something not very smart. I didn't check where I was inserting it. So it happened that now I'm inserting it within a group, which is the click here button. So I will cancel this one by pressing escape, and it's very important that you make sure that your logo will be always positioned on top of your picture. And as I say, now if I click, for example, the top element in my document, now it's called group 1. Maybe the next picture is called group 7 or has another name. How do I make sure that it's absolutely consistent? Here's the trick. So before to select the top element, I will do this one. I will stop for a second my recording. I will select any other layer, and I will create a new empty layer. Yeah, the new empty layer with this one here. And with the new empty layer, I will do a very tricky thing. I double click it and I rename it capital letter T-O-P, top. I call it top. And I move it all the way to the top. Right? Now, I can carry on recording. I select another layer, I carry on record, and I say, click on top to select layer top. You see, have been recorded as an action. Select top layer. Now I can do my place. File, place, select the logo, and place. Now I'm sure that it's always on top. Attention, I haven't pressed enter yet, because now what I want to do, I want to change the scale. Now, something very funny happened here. If I try to do it with the mouse, holding shift and drag the corner, next time when I apply the action again, it doesn't work. So how do I make it consistent? I will make it consistent with a trick. I'll show you how. First, I check the link here on top. Then I scale down the picture. Then I position the picture where I want it. For example, I want it here. Now, as I say, if I do everything with the mouse, it will not work the next time. So here's the trick. See on top here, it tells me that I positioned my picture at 332 pixels. So I will just change that number with a very similar number. So for example, I change it with 330, which will move it by only 2 pixels. The next one is 774. I will change it with 775. Oh, sorry, 745. Which will also change it by 2 pixels. And then here it says 21.9, I will change it to 22, which will also affect the other. So since I have enter all the values with the keyboard, I don't know why, but it will work the next time I do it. So I press enter, and you will see that in the action, he has stored all the information here. You see what it says? Yeah, it says place that picture from that link with that width and that X and that Y. So I can carry on. Actually, I can stop my action now, and I'm sure that every time I will run this action, it will apply the logo exactly at that spot. If you are a photographer and you are used to put your signature in the bottom right corner, for example, and that signature is perhaps your logo, you can do the same thing. You create a top layer, and in the action you record. Select the top layer, place, and then you have to type the value manually. Does it make sense? Do you have any question on it? Yes?
Will this be affected if the picture is in the landscape or portrait?
Oh, definitely, definitely. In fact, in my, not this computer, the other one that I use normally for production, I have 2 sets of action. One is for landscape and the other one is for portrait. And actually, I have to tell you honestly, I'm getting lazier and lazier. So when I go out, I only take landscape picture. So I use one action only. No, there is also another reason why I take only landscape. Because I'm doing a lot of video, like slideshow. So if you have a lot of portrait, you have the 2 black bar on the side, it doesn't look very nice. So I only take landscape picture. I think that from now onward, we will start feeling much more this thing, because to make a slideshow became so easy now with software such as Animoto or even with Premiere Pro or After Effects. They will become more and more common to see only landscape picture and less panoramic. Any other question? Okay, so I'm done about action, unless you have another question. No questions? No. Okay, I'm done about